Enjoy this episode of our 4 Qs for You series brought to you by Muzzy Property Group. Welcome to another episode of 4 Qs for You. Today my guest is my cousin, Thomas Eklund, and he is with Wood Comfort Systems. Thomas, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thomas Eklund, been married for 30 years, been air conditioning technician for 15, 3 kids, 2 dogs and 2 cats.
Yeah, a hard worker, a very hard worker. So we're going to talk about HVAC systems today, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the first question. Question number 1, what brands of HVAC systems are commonly used in Texas and which do you favor over others?
Pretty much every brand out there that you've heard of is used in Texas.
Okay.
As far as which ones are preferred, I don't like to look at it in that way.
Okay.
The most important thing of any air conditioning system is it installed correctly. When it's
Oh,
installed
interesting.
correctly, it's going to work very efficiently for the person, for what they've got. There are lots of different levels of efficiency and technology in the systems today. So you can naturally go from the most basic to what we would call a Cadillac system.
Okay.
And those are naturally very efficient, but very pricey. So as long as they're installed correctly, they're going to work very well.
Interesting, because in our society, name brands and the tag that's on there is, we think, oh, that's going to be better. So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily, as long as it's installed correctly.
Installed correctly, right. And there's a
Interesting.
lot of different factors involved in that. It's not just what you see. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't see that need to be done correctly. As the ductwork up in your attic that you don't ever see,
Yep.
and many other things.
Okay, very good. Question number 2, what is a typical lifespan of an HVAC system, both indoor and outdoor? And maybe explain to those folks out there that don't really know there's 2 systems.
Right. So traditionally we have split systems. We've got a system naturally inside. They're either going to be in a closet or in the attic. That's what we call your indoor unit. And those can be a furnace with an evaporator coil or an air handler. Outdoor, you're going to have a condensing unit. In our areas, we have condensing units that we call straight cool. That's for your furnace and furnace systems that are gas. And then you've got your heat pumps, which is a different type system, different type of heating. Average lifespan in South Central Texas is 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
It's what you're going to get. If you're well maintained, installed correctly, sometimes you can get longer, but that's
The
average right now.
Okay, and that's what I've seen as a homeowner, about 10 years, and then it was time to switch it up.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3. What is the most common issue that you see as an HVAC technician?
The most common preventable issue is maintenance. People do not think about their air conditioner and what type of maintenance what they need to do with it. It's a relatively small cost, it's generally under $200 a year to have a maintenance contract where they come out, they check it, they make sure that the system is working properly, cleaned properly. Not everything is covered by the maintenance programs. You do have to pay still to have things cleaned, but as long as it's maintained and cleaned, that's the biggest thing, and you can prevent a lot of unnecessary expenses in maintaining.
So it's
running
worth
it.
the fee that you pay
Oh,
for that
yes.
maintenance agreement.
Absolutely.
Do you-
And you always get benefits from it,
Yeah.
discounts off of repairs, discounted service call fees, extra warranties as far as labor and parts. So there's a lot of benefits that you can get from it, other than just you get to see your technician twice a year.
Yeah. And are you ever in a situation where a homeowner had no idea that they had an indoor unit and an outdoor unit?
Every day.
Really?
Every day.
I mean, I think I'm desensitized to that because I've been in real estate and I already know, but I just wondered, do people not know that there's 2 parts?
And it's generally the younger
Okay.
generation. We've got a generation coming up now that's different than any other generation that we've ever had. It's not me and you anymore. It's these kids. They weren't explained the things that we had to go through as kids. So when you go and you say, well, where is your indoor unit? And they look at you and go, the air conditioner's outside. No. You have one inside. And then you have to ask them, where's your air filter? And then you just kind of break it down and you figure out where it is. But yes, it's not every day, but once a week, twice a week, I'm explaining to somebody they have two systems.
Yeah, so we need to do a better job, realtors, on explaining whenever, there's a homeowner, rentals, people that rent.
They don't even know they have air filters in rentals.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's scary. Okay, I have like all these questions coming in my mind, but we're going to stick to this.
Okay.
Question number 4, what are 3 pieces of advice you'd give a homeowner in regards to their HVAC system?
Number 1, we've already covered, maintenance agreement. Maintain your systems. It will increase the lifespan of them. Number 2, find a thermostat at a temperature you like and leave it alone. Okay. Set it and forget it. I know your husband.
Say that again.
Set it and forget it.
Okay.
Just if you can get some type of a auto changeover. A lot of people don't like the programs; they're confusing. The apps are great now, but if you can do it to where you can just set it and there's an auto changeover, like this time of year, today it's 70, Saturday it's going to be 50. It's going to need to change over from heat to cool. It automatically does that. You don't have to touch it, and you set it at a temperature, and every time you adjust that thermostat, you're making it run more.
Okay.
Usually, because you're turning it up or down.
Okay.
And so that increases your bill.
Okay.
And the third piece of advice is that's a good one.
So let me
get a good company that you trust and stick with them. That'd be the next good one, because there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately give this industry a bad name.
Yeah.
And find a good, honest. Even if it's just a technician you trust, because a lot of times it's not the company people trust, it's us who come to the home.
And I was going to say, I can probably think of 2 other folks in your industry. It doesn't matter what company they go to work with. Yes, there are better companies than others that have better reputations, but I always remember the person and that technician. And I can say the same thing goes for real estate with a realtor, in any industry. Right. So those are 3 good pointers. I do want to go back to a question. I'm thinking about 2-story homes. So I have heard that you should keep the temperature within 2 or 3 degrees or warmer than the other.
Yes. So naturally, we all know physics. Heat
rises.
Heat rises. So in the wintertime, your upstairs system is very rarely going to run, because all that heat's going to rise up there. There's 2 different types of situations you have in 2-story houses. You can have one air conditioning system that's zoned. So you have 2 thermostats, and there's motorized dampers in the ductwork that open and close to heat and cool each level. And then you can have 2 separate systems for where you actually have 2 indoor units, 2 outdoor units, 2 thermostats. Everything's doubled. The 2 systems situation is much better.
Okay.
Because
I was going to say it's going to cost more up front.
Right. But it's going to be a lower bill.
Okay.
Because the zone system is not for efficiency, it's for comfort.
Okay.
That's where everybody gets it mixed up.
We're so spoiled.
Yeah. So it makes you comfortable, but anytime that one of those thermostats is on, your system is on 100%, unless you have a 2-stage, which usually is rare with zone systems. But it's on and it's running. Yeah. And if it's running all the time, then your bill's going to be high.
So I can't, if it's one system, I can't turn upstairs off and keep downstairs on.
Certainly you can.
I can.
You can. And it'll run and it'll cycle, but you have them both on. Summertimes you're the hardest, because upstairs is just going to, it's usually smaller. Yeah. So you have a little smaller space cooling with the same size system that does the whole house. So it's running full speed all the time.
So I'm thinking of, I have a few new folks that are brand new to being a homeowner. They had the walkthrough, new construction with their construction manager, but would you recommend still getting an HVAC company to come out and just do a little bit of education just on the HVAC?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that would be very beneficial, because then they can find out what all their thermostats can do, where everything is as far as filters, as far as where your drain lines are, what they're going to do, because every system nowadays has a primary and a secondary. And I've gone to so many people's houses that the pipe that's sticking down out of your soffit outside is not your drain line. If you see water coming out of that, that's bad.
You have an issue.
But I have people that tell me, oh yeah, it's been coming out of there for years.
Gosh.
I'm like, no.
Oh, that's not good.
And they just don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that they can find out. Then, you know, if it's their company, they can look at it, they can know, they can have it in their system. And,
Yeah.
you know, and generally the installing company is the best one because you're going to have some type of a warranty if it's a new home.
True, true.
So, and then you can get to know them. If you're new to the area, you know, it's.
So just, we're done with our questions, but curious, what's like the worst scenario that you've walked up on with HVAC?
There's so many. Okay, yeah, this is kind of a nasty one. Canyon Lakes, because I cut my teeth at San Marcos Canyon Lake.
Okay,
in
yeah.
Braunfels, you know, and it's out on the Canyon Lake. It's his house. It's a guy's rent house on the lake. He rents it out to people to come and spend the summer. You know, week at a time. Whatever.
Yes, like an Airbnb type thing.
Got a bad smell in the house. I start going through and I open up the unit and I smell it and I see it all over the blower because this is an upflow. And I had to cut a hole in the ductwork above it and pull it off, and there was a raccoon that had fallen down onto the heat strips. And the heat strips always have at least 120 volts of electricity going through it. Same thing as that plug.
Okay.
So it will kill you if you're on it long enough. And it killed Mr. Raccoon. And it just kind of, he melted into the duct. It was bad. It smelled
That's gross.
really, really bad. That was one of the worst.
Yeah.
And other than one running into a heat strip head on, I had to clean him out of a package unit one time.
So, yeah.
Animals are the worst.
Animals.
Animals are the worst.
All right. Well, I'm sure we could talk about a lot of stories. I know you keep this figure because you're up in attics in the summer and it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
So this summer, you know, always think about you. Stay hydrated. Be careful in that Texas heat. But thank you so much for your time. And if you have any follow-up questions on HVAC systems, reach out to me and I can get you connected with Thomas. That's it for this episode of 4 Qs for You. We'll see you next time.